What's up, guys? This is Josh Dragon here, and today I'm going to bring you the first round results of Tijsel's Flash the Games the Competition Tournament. For the first round, I had to take on a very, very difficult gamer by the name of Ferrish, and actually, I did not remember who he was, to be honest with you. I have a pretty good tally on most of the gamers that I play against, and I sent out a whole bunch of invites to the regulars in the spreadsheet gaming competitions before his tournament started. We were going to try to get the number of participants up to 32, and I sent one out to Ferrish, but I guess I had forgotten who Ferrish was because I had to look him up. But it turns out he was very, very good. I wasn't quite sure whether he was going to be a tough one in the first round or not so much, and he definitely played phenomenally well. He was on it the whole way through. You know, he was. We were trading scores with each other right from the start, and you know, in retrospect, it probably wasn't a good thing for me not to have gotten heavily started on that round right from the beginning. I actually wasn't expecting a very difficult match, simply because it was the first round, and normally you don't get that tough of an opponent in the first round. So I actually did not play the game at all for the first day, and that put me at a distinctive disadvantage because I looked at the scores and he was already up to 400 plus, and I was like, oh man, I gotta catch up to this guy. He's doing really good. So I managed to do that. I pulled ahead of him. I think I got up to about 580 meters in the game, and or maybe it was 560, I guess, and then he pulled ahead of me to 580, and then I got in the 600 mid 600 range with the meters, and he beat me again. He got up to about 780 meters, and then finally I had a really good run on the game, and I pulled ahead to about 967, I think was what my final score was. I might be wrong on that number. And at this point, I knew I was in really good shape, and because I knew he'd be able to beat that score. I knew that 967 would not be enough to put him away. He was playing too well for that. But I was reasonably confident that his improvement, which would probably be his last one, would be in the high range of about maybe 1,090 to 1,110, something like that. So I told him I was just getting started, and he said the same thing back to me, and at that point I knew I had a real match on my hands. This was not going to be an opponent that was going to go away, and it was going to be a real tough match all the way through the end. So my strategy at that point was just to get the best possible score that I could, and when I saw that he had posted his last one as, I think, 1,267, I knew that was going to be difficult. And while I'll say his score was very good, I do feel to some degree that I dropped the ball a little bit because it wasn't something I couldn't have beaten, and I was playing fairly well. I think any point when you're really pushed hard, you'd be surprised by what you can come up with. I've had times when I've seen a score come up and I said, that's insane, there's no way I'm going to beat that thing, and I actually do it. I just keep working at it and trying new things, which is a large portion of playing in these tournaments, is just to try new things until you find the right pattern, and you come back and you win. It's not just a case of really never giving up. It's like being like Rocky Balboa, just never stopping until the bell rings, and that's really what it's about, is you're always looking for a new way to win. And I felt like that score was something I definitely, could have beaten. I just didn't have the right rhythm for it. I was still learning some things about the game. The fact that I didn't study it on the first night really did hurt me quite a bit in the end. And, like I said, he played really well. He put up good scores all the way through. He had a good rhythm and a good momentum all the way through. He was focused on that. He didn't let the fact that I was the number one seed or anything like that intimidate him. He just played great right up until the end. And I think he's a very, very good player. I'd definitely like to play him again because he's got a lot of good energy for this right now. He's playing with a lot of passion, and it would be fun to have another rematch with him. I think he's a definitely a real solid player, and I told him I'd remember him for future tournaments. So hopefully he'll be back to play in my Superstar Showdown or some other tournament that I host in the future, and I hope we get the chance to play again, and I get to play some other good players here in the future too. At about 300 to 350 meters, you'll notice that the blocks on the right-hand side of the screen stop falling, and this can present a pretty big problem. You want to make sure that as you get probably about 200 plus meters into the game, that you're transitioning yourself to the center and the left-hand side of the screen. And the advantage to this, of course, is that the blocks won't be falling on you. You can work your way within the infrastructure of this of the blocks in the game, and you won't have any real risk of getting crushed by the blocks as long as you don't bring them down on yourself. So my advice would be to stand in these little crevice areas and then just bring the structure down anytime you need to. Like if you're kind of getting pushed over to the right hand side of the screen, just stand inside of the little crevice area and then just bring the blocks down. And that's a much easier way of kind of progressing through the levels. You really don't want to get pushed over to the right any more than you have to. Now eventually this is going to happen, and when it does, just proceed very, very slowly and look for any crevices that you can to bring the blocks on the left-hand side of the screen down on top of you, so you'll have kind of more of like an enclosed, supported area, if you will. You don't want to ever really be vulnerable to these blocks, because eventually they're going to crush you if you're out in the open long enough. So of course at this point I'm now in the losers bracket, and looking down the road a little bit here, I have Shawner in the bottom half of this draw, and if, that's a concern to some degree. But again, I know I'm going to have to go through some good players here, and it's nothing really that I wouldn't expect. It looks like the first few rounds maybe won't be too bad. Kind of hoping, at least. I was thinking that would be the case with Ferrish, but I was obviously wrong there, so we'll see what we get with BC Legends. But this is really just evidence that you have to take the first round seriously. Because in any round, when you're playing a single elimination style, you can get a tough opponent. You don't know when it's going to be or who it's going to be necessarily, and you've got to be ready for it. And definitely for the next few rounds, I will focus on being trying to play at my best and bringing my A game as much as I can. I'm just hoping that I can get off to a much better start against BC Legends than I did against Ferrish, but I don't think that'll be so much of a problem because I'm going to be playing the game on the first day this time and not trying to start it as a final on the second day or something like that. You know, playing hard on the second and third days, but not really giving much of an effort early on. So I hope you guys enjoyed my podcast interview here. I had a lot of fun doing it, as always. If you have any suggestions, anything you'd like to see a little bit different in the next video, please let me know. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. This is Josh Dragon signing out.